All right, ladies and gentlemen, here we are, episode 3.2 of the brand new version of the Big Bucket of Chicken. I'm doing the 3 points now. We're gonna go 3.1, which was last week, 2 weeks ago. This will be 3.2, and I'm gonna keep going, and then I'm gonna really get real annoying because I'm gonna 3.9. Then I'll do 3.9.1 or something. I don't know. How do you do 3.10? Does it become 4.0? I mean, are we gonna go? I mean, is that how we're gonna do it? I don't know.
Yeah, I'm not very good at mathematics, so whatever you just said, I'm sure made sense in some realm of some person's house, but it's just not mine.
Who's screaming in your house? Is there a murder happening?
It's fucking Tuesday.
It is. I keep forgetting it's Tuesday. I had a couple of days off. So, as we were talking before the show, for the fourth time in the last 2 years, I'm trying to, and I really am. I am a cigarette smoker, and I hate cigarettes. I'm at the point now where every cigarette, I'm like, why the fuck am I doing this? But it's not even the nicotine. I can get nicotine other ways, vaping or whatever. It's that I don't know. It's just something about inhaling that smoke is so mentally satisfying. And smokers, I definitely will understand this. I know you hate smoking. You more than the cigarettes, you actually hate just the little mini vacations we go on, we're having a party. It's like, all right, Kev, we'll be back in 5, and we have to go outside and discuss the outside world, and then come back.
Yeah, it's definitely awesome when people do that. I love it. No, I don't. But that's cool though. You're trying to quit smoking. I know there's a few times in your life that you tried to quit smoking. I know. What was the longest you ever went without smoking?
Before I started smoking, for 20 years, 3 months. I didn't smoke for 3 months. This was back in...
Did you try the patches and stuff?
No, I never did the patch. I tried the gum. See, the thing about nicotine is, for real heavy smokers, I imagine that nicotine is one of the biggest components, the biggest aspects of the addiction. But really, there's 10,000 ingredients in cigarettes. I feel like the combination of all those things plus nicotine, which is a speed, like caffeine, makes it...
Where is tar on your list of favorite ingredients in cigarettes? Is tar up there for you?
Tar is just a byproduct of smoking weed. You get tar from smoking weed. Anything you burn and smoke, it makes you're getting a black crud in your lungs. I mean,
did you ever try to get tar and then just try to just smoke it?
No, but I'm
sure. You ever just hey, you paid your driveway this weekend, Lou? Nope. Going home to smoke this big fucking bucket.
Yeah, I never tried it, but I mean, I'm not unopen to the idea of smoking black asphalt. I mean, maybe it's awesome. Maybe we just discovered a new. It's better than lean or whatever the fuck the kids are doing now. Whatever drugs are fucking shit up.
Now, why don't more people smoke nicotine through a bong? Why they don't do that? Why is it always got to be pot and a bong?
Well, technically all the stores that sell bongs are supposed to be these are for tobacco use only.
Yeah, but how come I never see anybody doing that? I never met anybody that has a piece to smoke their cigarettes.
I imagine it happened.
Where are those people? Do they fucking exist? Because
No, they don't. I imagine it happened about 4000 BC when the bong was first invented, and you couldn't. There was no paper to roll cigarettes in, so you had an apparatus. People were oh, I'm gonna smoke a cigarette, and you pulled out a thing, and you crank it and put the thing in, you puff that was satisfying.
I mean, every time I've done a bong with some guy who has some exotic bong that has big pipes going through, it's a big water slide. He's always giving me a great story about what pot he got and all this other shit. How come I never get hey man, what you're smoking is pure parliaments, man. Pure parliaments.
I just want to point out the fact that you said every time I've done a bong, you just hit the point of the next echelon you have to hit is a 40-year-old man. Every time I've done bongs and taken pots, I had to hear a story about. I don't care what kind of.
Come on, guys! It was my 4th Jimmy Buffett concert.
Yeah, exactly. What is this? Sticky Icky? Is this Icky the stickiest?
I don't do that stuff anymore, and I did, and now it's Now when someone has a bong, like I don't know how to react to it.
When someone's offering you bong hits. But
Yeah, no one does
anyway,
anymore. I don't know anybody that's like that anymore.
I know there's
But I'm
nobody.
saying, I just wish it was more along the lines of a more common thing of a cigarette smoker. But instead of like them going out in the backyard with just like a pack of cigarettes and a lighter, they have this giant thing like, I'll be right back, I'll see you in 20 minutes. And they got like the Gigantor or whatever the fuck they name their bong. And then like everybody's passing that shit around just to smoke their cigarette and get their like nice little thing. Because I thought it was always like a cool process, you know? Like the water bubbles and everything comes up for the tube. You know, instead it's everybody, look at you, even with your goofy vape thing. Like it just isn't the same, you know? You look like a silent film right now where they like smoke.
I know, it's like rolling up my sleeves like now
I have a question for you. Do you think that less people would smoke cigarettes if there was just a skull and crossbones on the front of it?
No, because they do that in other countries. Instead of saying, like in America where it says, like, don't smoke these because coffee death. In other countries, like just a picture of a black lung. Like, this person died last week. His name was John. He lived two houses away from you. And you're like, oh, all right, well, sorry, John. I got to do what I got to do. Or like they do have like pictures of like dead fetuses. Like it can cause birth defects such as this. It's like a baby's face, just like I got a hair lip. It's like.
Well, I always love that they always write, do not operate heavy machinery while doing this.
Well, not on cigarettes. I mean, find heavy machinery and you'll find someone smoking a cigarette.
I'm sorry, that's alcohol.
Well, that makes sense.
Like I've always wanted to see those like alcohol commercials where someone's getting like a DWI like a bulldozer. Like I want to see that shit. It's like who the fuck is like operating heavy machinery? Like I understand like, you know, it's obviously if you're in construction or whatever and you go and have a drink at lunch or whatever like that. But what about like the guy that just randomly was like, he gets wasted and he's like, where can I find a forklift? Like I wish there was that guy. There's not that guy around.
Forklift. Be is that.
It happens. And all right, so two things. Number one, as far as like, you know, smoking tobacco out of something that looks a little bit like this, which is a bong.
Now that's kind of cool.
Right?
That looks like almost like a, what do they call it? A cask, like a whiskey thing. What do they call those again? Like when you store, I don't know.
A barrel?
Maybe something like that. It's usually like a glass thing.
A casket aged, whatever. I don't know. But anyway, so I know that a lot of hipsters roll their own cigarettes. Like you'll be at a bar in Williamsburg, and you know, like you go outside to have your Camel or whatever I'm smoking, and like the guy next to you is like pulling out a little zippy bag and he's like rolling one individual cigarette. All right, it's like, you know what, fuck you. But I guarantee there are hipsters who in their homes not just use tobacco pipes, but like use these sort of apparatuses just for tobacco.
Hello, I'm here at the Prince of Wales pub, here at this cigar convention today, and what we're going to talk about now is pipe smoking.
Just for like.
So is this mean that I just don't know a lot of hipsters anymore?
Yeah, I feel like we don't. I mean,
why didn't you become more of a hipster? What's holding you back?
Oh, let's see. What is holding me back from becoming more of a hipster?
Because you strike me as the type of guy that would love to go out in public and just have a twirly mustache. That would always.
I am a hairy fuck. I mean, look.
I know, but I'm saying, how far off are you from having like a very twirly mustache, like you're from the 1910s?
Pretty far off. It's pretty contrived. Okay. I'll get to that in a second. I'm gonna talk about the hipster.
Do they sell like a kit for that?
I'm gonna address this in a second. First, I wanted to say about the.
Oh, okay. You need a podium. Okay, go ahead.
Well, no, I wanted to talk about this. We started the show talking about today. I had off today from work, and yesterday was 4th of July, so I took today off. Okay. And I really am. I had 2 cigarettes today, so pretty good. Other than like usually I have like 15, so 2 is pretty good.
Really? That's how many you have a day? 15?
Well, usually? About 10 to 15. I don't smoke a whole pack. But on a day where I'm working a lot and I'm staying up late, which is almost every day, I definitely smoke more than a half, but less than a whole. So 10 to between 10 and 15 cigarettes. So it's not good. It's getting worse. A package lasts me like 3 days now. It's like a day and a half.
Did you ever fall asleep with a cigarette in your mouth?
Never, never, never. I'll smoke a cigarette before I go to bed, and then that's horrible. That's one of the reasons why I want to quit. You want to have that last cigarette. It's like I want to get a little more crack in me before I go to bed, and you do it, and then you have this like cough that I just had. So now I smoke a cigarette, I drink a little bit of water, and go to bed, and then what happens is you wake up in the morning with like just dryness. It's like the worst sensation. It's dry throat. But it's also real phlegmy and disgusting, so you like cough up like a green chunk, and I hate it, and that's why I really want to stay. These aren't like perfect, but it's like 2 ingredients in here, or 3, or maybe even if there's a dozen, even if there's 10 or 15, it's way better than the 2,000 that are in a cigarette. So
now, do you think that candy cigarettes promotes smoking? Do you like remember the candy cigarettes growing up? I think they still sell them actually.
Maybe they did. Now they don't. Kids are not buying
candy cigarette before you started smoking.
Kids are not buying candy cigarettes anymore. You know what kids want now? They want fucking Yeezys. They want Kanye's $1,200 sneaker. They don't want fucking candy cigarettes. They want those white pieces of chalk with the pink end. Like, look at me, Mom, I'm cool. They're like, Mommy, I want Yeezys.
What is the next evolution for candy cigarettes though? Where can we go from what they're at now? Can we like
at the rate people are vaping and like how popular it is becoming? Because I haven't done it in over a year. I just pulled this thing out of like my closet like 2 days ago, and I went to the vape shop, and I think candy cigarettes are going to be just cigarettes. Like kids are going to go to the store and be like, well, everyone's vaping, so let's just get actual Camels and just like
that's fucking awesome.
Smoke these. Like that'll be a novelty.
That'd be kind of cool. Like that'd be like in the candy aisle, real cigarettes.
Mm-hmm.
Because I mean, how far off is like nicotine from like nougat? Like that's what I always said. I always said like, okay, like they could be in the same aisle. That's fine.
Yeah.
Okay, so candy cigarettes. I remember that was always like a thing when you were a kid. You felt cool. Do you ever feel cool when you smoke cigarettes?
No, I sound like
why? Because I feel like a lot of people do feel cool.
I feel like no one feels cool. I feel like that's exactly what anti-cigarette people are trying to get. Like, don't try to be cool. Like, at no point in my life was like, this will make me cool. I didn't smoke as a kid. I was not one of those kids who at 12 years old was like sneaking cigarettes. I started smoking when I was fucking 20 years old in college because I wasn't sleeping, and other drugs are more expensive, I guess. I don't know. It wasn't for coolness. It was like, if you remember how I started smoking, I knew you. Right before I met you guys, like a year before I met you, maybe not even, no. Yeah, I would smoke like cloves, like not to be cool. It's just when I drink, it's like the other stimulant. It tastes good. So it starts off like in high school, I smoked cigars, right? So I would smoke a cigar every once in a while, maybe at a party. And I guess on some level, people might think like, wow, he's doing it to look cool, but I never was doing it to look cool. I liked the taste of a cigar.
Now I have another question. Now, since you moved over to vaping, do you feel like people look at you more of like, oh, this guy's a douchebag? Like, are they more of like, oh, he's very respectful about his smoking? Or do you think it's more of like just kind of the evenly? Like, they still think you're an asshole, but they don't want to tell you? Like, is it more like a thing where you did vaping because you thought people thought you were a piece of shit, and you were like, I want to change my image? Or that was just like, okay, so what was the changeover?
I said it. I want to quit. I don't want to smoke cigarettes anymore. It's that simple. I want to smoke something. I do. I'm not gonna lie. I want to smoke something. Okay. That's why nicotine gum doesn't work. Nicotine gum gives you all the nicotine you could ever want, but the smoking, the sensation of like pulling in a lot of smoke and then exhaling it, it's like that's the mental addiction, the oral fixation, I guess, whatever it is. But what I want to say today, like when I went to the vape shop, I bought 2 flavors. Like it's changed a lot in the last year and a half. Like this is called. It comes in like this fucking. It came in a box like this fucking liquid with like all this like information about it. It's like, if you want to trick like a boss, you gotta vape like a boss. It's like trick vape. I don't know what the fuck. I'm not part of it. So it's called, the flavor I got. It's delicious. That's why I bought it. It's only got 6 milligrams of nicotine, which means this whole bottle is 6 milligrams, which means this whole bottle is equivalent to like 6 cigarettes. So I'm gonna smoke this for like a month. Anyway, it's called watermelon jellyfish. So it tastes like a watermelon Swedish fish a little bit, and I got this flavor. Where is it? Oh, here it's chubby bubble vapes, and it's called Bubble Perp. So it's like a purple, it tastes like a purple lollipop or a purple pixie stick. It's like just candy flavor. So it's obviously for marketing, and you can get zero nicotine. This has 6 milligrams. You can get zero. So if you're 18, you can just go buy this shit, and you're not getting any nicotine. You're just doing it for flavor. But like I said, I haven't gone to the.
Are you ever afraid that taking those flavors will make you gay?
No, Kev, I'm not afraid of being gay at all. But so you go. I haven't been to the vape shop in a while, and you can buy everything online. But I was like, you know what? It's right here in town. Let me just go get it. And as soon as you walk in, it's like you get like dragged into like the culture again. Like everything's like a stylized, marketed towards like some people vape for flavor. People vape for like the tricks you ever see online, like people like blowing O-rings and like dancing around the room and moving the vape around.
Did you see that?
You immediately get like plunged into this culture again. It's like, dude, you got to try this new flavor. It's fruity pebbles. I'm like, I just want two things. Like, I just need to not smoke cigarettes. Can you help me? And it's just like, like I'm in there and some girl like rushes in. She's like, I ran out of my buttered bagel flavor. I need more buttered bagel. It's like, oh my god, what am I doing?
So where do you see the whole hipster thing going like years?
The hipster thing?
What's the next evolution for hipsters? Like,
Well,
what's going to happen with that?
The thing about hipsters, and I feel like it's been that way forever, is that what they do is whatever the new thing is that becomes the hipster, paradigm, I guess you want to call it, and then it evolves. At the time, I think when every new generation of the hipster starts, it does begin with like the anti-fashion. Whatever's fashionable, the complete negative of that is the hipster. What ends up happening is a lot of people, that's what hipsters are. They're all dressed the same. Men with hair buns, girls with like a little bit of hair on one side and shaved. They have a hair bun. I saw a Def Leppard t-shirt. The girl was like 20. She probably paid, someone who buys ripped jeans that are $900 and a Def Leppard shirt that's $150 to look like I don't give a fuck. Like disheveled a little bit, kind of like just looking like, yeah, I just sort of like woke up like this. But you spent $800 to look that way. Mom and dad had to give you the money for it. You spent all day in your morning on your hair. You go to a special barber, like just for hipster nonsense, like where they'll trim your beard the most hipstery way and twirl your mustache and give you this, like Al Jorgensen's mustache cream and like all that. There's like so many products around it, so it just becomes exactly the thing they're trying to be against, railing against, whatever. So what I wanted to say was Friday night. I went to an open mic. I told you I came to your house after, and it was a lot of the open mics are mixed crowds, like age-wise. This was more like 80% under the age of 23 or 25, and then 20% above the age of 25. And this guy walked in, and if you were there, you would have died laughing. And part of me, as I get older, does not want. I don't care what you're wearing. I don't give a shit. I don't want to make fun of you. Just do your thing. Whatever it is you do, do it. That's fine. This guy came in. He had all the familiar twitchy body language of an introvert, just an introverted like guy who has like very little social personality. But I'm sure if you know him, like he probably is interesting, whatever. He comes in, long ass ZZ Top beard, right? No mustache, but you can tell by the beard. I guess you can tell like he's a young guy. He's like real light and like stringy looking, right? Top hat, black top hat. Rings on all his fingers, like a skull and a falcon of some kind. He's got like black pants. They looked like they weren't dungarees, but they weren't leather. They were some kind of whatever. Big black like motorcycle, like Terminator 2 motorcycle boots, like heavy boots with like chains on them, and a cane like a staff with like a golden emblem on top. And like just like he looked like a wizard who like also like moonlights with like Motley Crue. Like that's what he looked like. And he walks in and he's like, donning his hat, like tipping his hat to people like, I'm here, yes, hello. And I see him and I'm like standing like not too far from him. And you could tell like in real life this guy, like maybe he's a good musician or he has like he's basically like Asperger's with a splash of like, fucking slash. Like it's just very like that to me. That's what hipsters are. And I was just having this conversation before about this chick. Like I'm on social media. I'm 32 years old. I use Instagram. I use Snapchat. I use Facebook. I use those few. I'm not on like Google Plus or Flipagram or the fuck I don't know what it is. And I'm on Tumblr. I share all my photos and whatever. But everyone's like a superstar on like Instagram and Snapchat. But then you meet them in person, and they're just like I understand. I'm gonna sound like an old fuck, like my parents, like you kids today, but they have like almost no social skills. I don't want to. I'm introverted as well. I'm an introvert. I'm weird. I babble. I talk about nonsense constantly, but I can talk. Like if I actually can, like, hey, someone's like, hey, what's up? Hey, what's up? If I don't want to talk to you, I won't. I'll just walk away. But if we are face to face, we're like within 3 meters of each other in earshot. Like everyone's just like this. Everyone's just this. This is everyone. There's 17 people sitting in a room just like, yes, yes. And then you hear them giggle because they realize they Snapchatted something to each other. And I really have an urge. And I know it makes me sound old like my parents, but I have the urge to fucking just like walk around and just like kick the phones like right up into their faces. Like start kicking phones, like just kicking phones, like S5s and new S7s like splashing into the pool. And I know I sound like an old fuck because I'm on my phone too. I'm on my phone all the time. But I'm in a social gathering. If I go to your house and you invite 5 of our friends over, we're sitting at the table bullshitting or drinking. That's what we're doing. We're bullshitting, we're drinking. I'm not like on my phone like on Instagram while there's actual people that I know like sitting within 8 inches of me. I don't understand it. So that's hipsters to me. It's like shit talking, fucking know-it-all on the internet, but in person, bitch-ass motherfuckers. For the most part. Not all of them, but for the most part. I think 80%, yeah. Like, big presence on Instagram, no presence at the coffee shop.
I find myself doing that too sometimes, and then it's almost you have to be like aware of it. You have to know, hello,
you're in trouble.
hello. So yeah, it's almost like you have to be aware of like, and then kind of take yourself out of that. Don't be that. But I feel like most people don't do that. Like that's so. No one's been checked. Like everything is to that. That's like normal behavior for them.
Yeah. Is she kicking the door like, you fuck? Where's my cookie? But yeah,
I don't hear anything.
What you said was exactly it. No one's being checked because, and again, this is so reiterated and beaten to a pulp on the internet. But political correctness, everyone is afraid to say the wrong thing. So you can't be like, hey man, what's your deal? Like, what are you wearing this for? Are you in a band? Are you into like role play, like or cosplay? And like, some people might be able to talk to you and be like, yeah, no, I'm just groovy or whatever. Or they'll just be like, oh my god, I'm transgender. You're like, I'm okay with transgender people. And then you're on the cover of like Newsday, you're in News 12, like fat ogre makes fun of like skinny twiggy guy. And you're like, I didn't know what I didn't know. And then you're fucked. So
then you have to make a public apology.
Yeah, no one checks anybody because if you check someone and you don't come correct, like you're just a fucking nuance off of like how you wanted to say it and what you wanted to say and the right way to say it, you're fucked. Everyone in that place will turn against you. They'll take your picture. You're on social media and it's like fat hairy guy with glasses creeped everyone out, and like all of a sudden like you just standing in a room becomes you're the guy like creeping on the group of people, and it just becomes a whole fucking snowball effect. And of course that sounds like paranoia, but it happens. I mean, look at these we talked about last time. These parents were on vacation, their kid got destroyed by a crocodile. Unfortunately, it's horrible. Where's the compassion for the parents that lost their baby? There is none. Everyone's like, fuck you, you fucked up, you're an idiot, and fuck that kid, and I hate alligators too. Like, everyone involved is fucked. The alligator got killed, the kid's dead, and the parents are shunned. Like, there's no compassion whatsoever.
It's funny you bring that up. When you put up that commercial, Crocodile Mile, I fucking laughed for like 10 minutes. Because this is exactly what I was talking about. With the fact that like all these little like goofy animals are all around like for little kids, And meanwhile, they're like the most dangerous animals on the planet. Like, literally, the crocodile on Crocodile Mile came alive and swallowed the fucking kid. And that was okay back then. So, and then also, too, I'm at the pool this weekend because that's what people do in the hot weather. But the most common float is that fucking crocodile thing. Who doesn't have the crocodile thing?
Or the shark.
And you gotta think that some people are like looking at us like, what the fuck is this doing here? How dare you? Like, there's at least a few people that are thinking that in their heads. Does he even know what happened in Disney? He's bringing a crocodile float to our pool. You know, it's
true.
bullshit.
We have a. Here, the funny part is we have two big floats in our pool in the backyard. We have a great white shark, and we have the clownfish, which is the same fish that Nemo is. It's not Nemo, but it's like the same clownfish.
It's like generic clownfish.
Yeah, they're exactly the same size. They're big enough, like I can lay on them. And like, what message does that send to the kids? Like, oh, it's a big cuddly clownfish and a big cuddly great white shark with 75,000 teeth.
Yeah, well, my 2-year-old goes into the pool, shark, shark, not as in, look out, there's a shark, more like, that's my favorite float to go on.
Yeah.
Try doing that in a real, go in the Atlantic Ocean and try doing that. I summoned a shark with my conch. No, you can't do that. Also, too, you know what it is you know, obviously we've had conversations about this before. I really just want people to realize that their opinions, most people on social media, they don't matter. And the problem is that everybody really thinks that if they don't chime in on something or if they don't get their opinion out to everyone on Facebook or Twitter or whatever, that they're somehow less important to the world. You were never important to the world. You work at Kmart, you know, and I'm sorry, you know, I don't care where you were when the shootings happened, when a gator ate a baby, when Obama came on. Like, I don't give a fuck what you think. And that's the problem, is that everybody on Facebook is now a political scientist, including aunts, uncles, sisters, cousins, brothers, mothers, people you don't give a shit about, which is most of them. Mm-hmm. It's every person has to have, as soon as something happens, oh God, they're chiming in on this. And then they got to write their own paragraph of what they think. And to me, it's like, no, you don't. You really don't have to. Because no one is going, oh my God, look, what's Aunt Ray, or what's Uncle Ray thinking about it? No one at Fox News is like, holy shit, we got to sign on to Facebook and find out what Lou's cousins think about Obama, you know, like, or Trump, God damn it, Trump did it again. Like, no one fucking cares, okay?
What does Ja Rule think of this?
You're going to have no contribution to if he wins, loses, nothing that happens, unless you're donating money, unless you're giving thousands of dollars or going down there and taking a bullet out of somebody or whatever you're doing. If you're doing something like that, that's awesome. And then you want to comment on it. Hey, today I went down to Orlando and I saved 2 people from dying in the hospital because I volunteered. Great. That's awesome. I'll like that. But meanwhile, it's like, I'm going to not do anything, and hopefully this paragraph will help change transgender bathrooms. It's like, shut the fuck up. No one fucking cares what you think. All right.
Now, let me, what's up?
I said ran over. Go ahead.
All right. Let me be devil's advocate here. Now, the issue I have with that is, I agree. I totally agree. I agree with you to a degree, but you chime in on shit, and so do I. It's almost like you're
what
saying.
What do I chime in on?
But my point is this: like, let's say you don't chime in on almost anything, and then you pick the thing you do. Like, that's how everyone's attitude. Like, I don't say anything about anything unless it's something I really care about, and then I say whatever I want. So to be devil's advocate, if you post something, like I'm your friend on Facebook, and I post something about, like, for argument's sake, Donald Trump, it's posted in like a social public forum for the reason of reaction. Facebook, the whole design of Facebook is for reaction. You don't post shit and get no. There's literally a like button, so you don't have to even say anything. You can just like it. Now you don't just like it. You can just love it or smiley face it or heart it or sad face it. Like I see because I guess people were bitching. They'd post up my dog died, and people were like, I like this. And it's like, do you actually like this? It's like, no, I sad face it. I'm sad that your dog died. And the sad face is there's no gradient. It's like sad face where your dog died. 50 people got shot in Orlando. Sad face. I don't love this. I sad face this. So, all right. So give me an argument. Say, give you an example, and I think maybe if you can rebut, but if not, we'll end the show here. I actually had a conversation on Facebook. I do occasionally with certain people. Certain people just unfriended me because friends of mine they don't want to hear my opinion. Like they ask for an opinion, they get it, and if they don't like it, they just And the other thing is what happened to me today. So someone posted something about, and it was an article written in the Washington Post, which was why I even commented on it. If it's unsubstantial, if it's like some right-wing thing or some left-wing thing or some harebrained blog, I'll just walk away. I'll just see it and scroll past it. But some psychiatrist wrote an article in the Washington Post, and the title of the article is, "As a psychiatrist, I diagnose mental health, but I also identify demonic possession." And the article was, again, a well-thought, well-written, from an educated person, well-worded article about bullshit, about not as well thought out as it is, and as well-meaning and as educated this guy is, it's fucking stupidity. And in 2016, this guy's talking about how the last 25 years, he's not only diagnosed mental illness, such as schizophrenia, bipolar disorder, and obsessive-compulsive disorder, but he's also discovered multi-language speaking demons inside of people, and has helped priests in the United States and elsewhere find the demonic possessions and help them, blah, whatever. So I read the article, and I laughed, even though it was well written. It wasn't like crazy, it wasn't filled with pseudoscience other than the actual demonic possession thing, which is bullshit. So the person who wrote it, I commented and I was like, all right, I said what I said, whatever. He replied, but there was no argument fuck you, you don't know. It was none of that. It was just a back and forth. But what happens is it got to the point where it goes, basically, here's, obviously I'm assuming you know my argument. My argument is, despite all the well thought out nonsense, it's good and he's well written stuff, it's about a guy who says he's a doctor. He's not a psychologist, he's a psychiatrist. That means he's a doctor, he's a PhD, and telling us that sometimes when he meets people and they think they're schizophrenic, turns out they're not schizophrenic. There's an ancient demon inside of them trying to rip out of their face, and he needs to help the priest get it out. That's what he's saying. He's helped people do this. So, or at least identify. He hasn't actually done exorcism, but he's helped people identify the people who need to be exorcised. It's fucking stupid. So that's my argument. And they keep coming back it's about faith and God and blah, 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 blah. So we go back and forth. Then the last comment I got was, okay, Lou, you know what? I feel like you're articulate and very intelligent, but I feel like no matter what evidence provided, you would still not believe. So I said, that's not true. If there was evidence, real, legitimate, if you go on YouTube, there's thousands of exorcisms. They are all the most ridiculous bullshit you've ever seen in your life. So he said, like what? Give me an example of evidence that would convince you of this being somewhat true, and let's see if we can find it. So I stated the things I thought I would need to believe this sort of thing, and that's it. The conversation was over. So that's the light-hearted, soft, friendly way of just not arguing, and he did not reply anymore. There was no fuck you. So here was the things I said I needed to believe in a demonic possession. I need a few things. So let's start at the beginning. If there's demonic possession, which means that means there's demons, which means there's Satan, which means there's God. So for me to believe in any of this, number one, I would need my best case scenario to believe in any of this stuff is Jesus Christ himself would have to be interviewed on national television. CNN, Fox, MSNBC, you pick your channel. Christ of Nazareth must show up, and just no mystery, no finding a recluse in the woods and giving him the message of God and letting him spread out the world. Just showing him on TV.
That way. I like the recluse in the woods.
What's up?
I like Jiminy from the town, giving us the message.
Yeah, Jiminy,
Old
exactly.
Jiminy from the swamp.
So that's my number one. My number two was, like there are people who believe in demons, but there's also angels. So I said, okay, most of the time, the angel stories are like, I was drowning in my car, and then I felt two hands lift me, and then I was out of my car. And it's like, yeah, that could have been the firefighter, you're hallucinating, but maybe it was angels. So I would need like angels and or God to appear at like a fucking Yankee game. I need like 60,000 people to see it and it to be televised.
Wait,
and
have you seen Angels in the Outfield?
Yeah, exactly. I need something
Okay.
I need something legitimate.
So that's based on a true story. I don't know.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's based on real accounts.
Look it up. Tony Danza. Look it up.
Exactly. Your mom's watching. She's like, "Yep, Kev, that's exactly that." But so I didn't get a response, and I wasn't being sarcastic, and I wasn't being cynical or snarky.
I think the main thing here, what you just said, I think the biggest problem is that you had a good point there about this article being well written, and meanwhile this fucking doctor says he can fight demonic possessions. But what happened was in the forum or the messages after that, it slowly turned into, you don't believe in Jesus and you're not giving me reasons why I should. And it's really the crux of it is that you're doing a religious debate. Religious debate is what is the worst, some of the worst conversations on Facebook you can have, because you're never going to win that. You're never going to win any political arguments.
I made it that though. I didn't say.
Two sides. It's always two sides of something, and arguing about it doesn't do anything. It just
I get that.
You state your opinion for somebody that has a different opinion.
Yeah, but that's not. Listen, what happened was I brought it up because, like I said, for there to be demonic possessions, so many things have to have occurred. There has to be demons, number one, which means there has to be a devil, which means there has to be God. So I sort of turned it into a religious conversation because I said, you can be a doctor, you can believe in God. But he didn't do anything about the exorcism. He just identified demonic possession, which means it's just like everything else. It's beyond his understanding, beyond his education, whatever it is. So now, of course, and they try to cite things like, well, I've seen so many cases of little girls speaking German, and it's like, okay, there are some unexplained shit, but I need to see as a citizen video evidence. I mean, there's so many movies out. Like in the article, he states how last year there was like 12. Last year or a few years ago, there was like 12 exorcisms in the country. Now there's like 50 a year. It's like quadrupled. Because these fucking haunting and whatever comes out, and people see that shit, and I think they're simple-minded. Like, for example, the one I brought up, and he admitted that was like a horrible example, but it exists. There's a priest in this country, I'll try to get a link, who does exorcisms via Skype. So you get possessed by a demon, but you're controlled enough to log into your Skype and sit in a chair the whole time. Like, I've watched them on YouTube, and they seem so fake, but the priest is so, like, legitimate and serious and sincere. And, like, the guy on the other end, like, it's like us. Like, our podcast is going to be my face and your face. That's what it is. It's him with a cross going, like, the power of Christ compels you. And the guy on the other seat's going, like, and, like, all of a sudden, at the end of the video, he's like breathing better, and he's like, oh, the demon's gone. And like logs out of Skype and goes back onto his MySpace or something.
The Exorcist says this man, David, from Norway, is possessed by 4 demons. One of the demons, says Bob Larson, is sarcastic and mocking.
Are you Bob the Builder? I guess it's Bob the Builder.
You have mocked the servant of God. You will be struck with judgment for mocking the servant of God.
It took over an hour. The exorcist said he was successfully able to rid David of his demons. For now.
God bless.
Okay, bye-bye.
That's funny, right?
My 2-year-old daughter is trying on my wife's bras. So they're having a little fashion show. It's awesome. No, I think too. I know what you're saying. It's you feel like you can have a nice conversation with somebody about something like that, and be able to form your own opinion without like someone shitting all over it. But it just doesn't happen anymore. I just feel like there's no conversation that exists anymore where there's something that's civil. It always turns into some just fucking colossal. And I I don't even know if we ever covered what happened to you a couple months ago on the message boards on the show. Well, I think we should revisit that next show.
I think we did. I think one of the episodes we did. One of the last episodes. One of the episodes where shit was falling apart and it was like supposed to be 3 of us and just 2 of us were talking. I definitely think one of the last ones we did cover it. We can go over it again.
Where it's like it's so easy to go, look at this fucking loser. Like it's just so easy. Like, oh, I bet you he doesn't have sex ever and he's gay. Like it's just and it's like, weren't we just having a conversation about something?
Yeah.
It's so easy these days to like, look at this fuckwad. Like it's just so easy, and I can't stand it. Like anything. Like I go on message boards a lot. I like to read like about different. I don't know. I like internet movie database like message boards for actors, and it's like really aged horribly, and then like it's like it's true. Like if let's give an example like Meg Ryan, like horrible plastic surgery or whatever. But it's like someone could like put a post like that. It's like Meg Ryan has aged horribly. She looks awful. And then someone can go, yeah, well, that happens when you age, okay? When you age gracefully, okay? That's what happens, okay? You're not at it, you're not at that age to understand what happens. It's like so quick to, it's just like, can't you just take a look at the fucking picture and see that she fucked her face up? Like, that's all you gotta do. But meanwhile, it's like, you don't know Meg Ryan. You don't have any affiliation with her. But it's like, I got to defend my favorite actress from 20 years ago.
Yeah.
And that's just one example. I mean, there's just any message board you go on. It could be about fucking Ritz crackers.
Yeah.
And someone could be like, are you fucking kidding me? You don't like peanut butter on crackers, you fucking idiot? Like, it's just so quick. Like, everybody's just so quick to jump down each other's throats if we have different opinions. And that is Facebook times a million now.
Yeah.
It's everybody's bullshit opinion that I don't give a fuck about because I'm not going to you. Like, you work 8 hours today at fucking Toys R Us, and now all of a sudden, like, I gotta hear you chime in about how Obama's fucking up the country and Trump's gonna save everybody. Like, it's like, do what you do best. Go sell fucking My Little Pony and do that, okay? Like, unless I see a title card under you that says, renowned political scientist, then don't say anything. Just go about your business. You know what? Say, complain about the traffic. Because that's good. Do something like that. Talk about how it's shitty that it's rainy out. Okay? That's good stuff. That's like fluff stuff. Okay? But when it comes down to like politics, religion, whatever it may be in those regards, where it's like, something happens and everybody starts talking about it. All of a sudden someone has a French flag as their profile picture. We're putting the flag down at half mast. It's at a McDonald's. Like, it's, again, I don't fucking care what you have to say. Like, unless, again, you have some sort of real stake in what's going on, unless you are able to do something about it, instead of sitting on the computer and going, well, I do feel strongly about this. Like, who fucking cares that you feel strongly about it? No one fucking cares. Your family hates you. Your family is like fucking maybe not unfriending you, but you're definitely off their news feed. That's the new fun thing about Facebook. Is that you don't have to friend people. Just unfollow them. And you will never hear from them again unless you click on their page. And most likely you will never click on their page because you don't give a shit about what they're saying. So try it. Try it. If you haven't unfollowed anybody, seriously, next time when someone goes, Trump, do it. Just get unfollow, and you'll never hear from them again. I swear. They won't. And the great thing is, you probably won't ever hear them talk about it in person. Most likely, the people that are doing this, you never see. And if you do see them, most likely they're not having that conversation in front of you. Facebook is saved for that. Just throw a dirty diaper at me. All right, that's the end.
All right, well, what I wanted to say was one last thing is, and to reiterate your point, I agree 100%. Know what it is? It's not opinion. We all use the word opinion because opinions are a real thing and they do exist. It's just that contrarians masquerade, a contrarian opinion masquerades as an actual opinion. So whatever you say, someone's just going to try to go to www.oppositeofwhatyousay.com and just do like, well, actually, this is a real fact. It's like, well, there's also this. Even though they don't believe it or even feel that way, just to be contrarian, they're gonna fucking, contrary to what you say, they have to just like give it to you, like, yeah, you don't know everything. So.
And again, if you haven't found the unfollow button on Facebook, please go look for it. It is very useful for a lot of people. And plus, it saves you the trouble of that awkward thing where someone tries to refriend you, as then they had that idea where it's like, oh, Facebook must have fucked up. Nope, nothing got fucked up. I unfriended you. Why do I have another friend request? God damn it! It doesn't happen anymore. Unfollow, try it.
Yeah, let's do that. All right, man. I'll talk to you later, bro. Thanks for watching. Bye.
Big bucket.
Stan, why won't you be friends with Grandma?
Dad, I just really don't want to pay attention to this
Grandma
thing.
is in the hospital, and you won't even be friends with her.
All right, Dad, I'll add Grandma as a friend.
That's better. Oh, and I sent you a funny picture and you didn't respond to it.